Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I just want to welcome you to our presentation today. So this is our new virtual open house. So I hope to answer most of your questions today. I apologize for my darkness. My background isn't working with my computer. Apparently it needs to be updated. So I'll work on that after. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to run through a presentation. I'm going to introduce myself, and then if we have time, I'd like to open up the chat for any questions that you may have. So I am Michelle Rousseau. I am the director at Deer Park. I have been the director for 4 years there. I have been director of day camps since I'm 25, so that gives me 15 years experience. I've been involved with Camp Saras for many more years than that. I have a 5th grader who goes to Camp Saras, and he was there before me while I ran a different day camp. And we loved it so much that I asked that if there was ever an opening, if they would consider my application to be closer to home. And just because I liked how the campus was run, and I love the Turniers, our managing directors, they're absolutely fantastic, and we're one big happy family. Sorry, I'm a little crazy since my background didn't work. So you see what you see for when I teach. I am a middle school special ed teacher. I teach in person and remote. So bear with me. We don't normally use Zoom. I'm more of a Google Classroom person. So I'm a Google Meeter, but we will work through Zoom. We had a form that you could have asked questions through. Our campus didn't get any of those questions, so we're going to do live. I am more than happy to do the live with everyone. So I'll begin by providing you a brief history of our camp and information about our staff and our campers and our programming, our health and wellness, and how we can continue to navigate through COVID-19, which is difficult for everyone. If you have any other questions that I'm unable to answer, you can always email me. I will put my email into the chat at the end, or you can email info@campsaras.org and somebody will get back to you. Okay. So let me go back to the original slide, the beginning. Out of my comfort zone without Google, but we all need to be out of our comfort zone at some point. Okay, somebody could just throw into the chat if they can see my presentation. I'd appreciate it. I see a much different view from everybody else. Perfect, thanks so much. Okay, so Deer Park is on its 3rd year as a campus. We originally started as West Islip, and due to unforeseen circumstances with a school closing and a redesignation of that school, we moved to St. Cyril's in Deer Park, which is absolutely lovely. The staff there is wonderful. The deacon that I work with is absolutely amazing. He gets back to me quickly on any concerns. I work very closely with him when we are doing our programming to make sure that all conflicts can be avoided, especially last year with navigating through COVID. They had to do all of their sacraments while we were having camp at the same time. So I actually got very close to many other people there because we spent a lot of time mapping things out so that we didn't cross children from the camp over the children from the church. And we really did a nice job with that. And I got a bunch of great friends out of it, which was wonderful. I have an absolute wonderful staff. A large majority of my staff are teachers or going to school to be teachers. Many of our incoming newer counselors were campers themselves. That I have known since they're little. And of course, being a teacher in North Babylon, many of them would be former students that I had worked with as well, which is fantastic. I just noticed that I say Danielle De Alto, so I'll introduce her. She's not here today. She is my regional director. So she oversees our Eastern campuses. I'm logged in as her because that's how they set up the webinar. She's also a special ed teacher. So her and I work closely together to ensure everybody's happiness throughout the camping season. Okay, let's go to the first slide. Hopefully I don't knock anybody off here. Okay, so Through COVID-19, we now have different arrival and dismissal procedures. We put these procedures into place last year due to the pandemic, and they worked so well that we will be keeping them this year. So it's a valet pickup and drop off. You never get out of your car. So one of my counselors will come to your car. They will take your child's temperature. We are still going to do that on a daily basis. They will ask you a series of 5 COVID questions, which by week 2, you will know exactly what they are and can answer them before we even ask them. And then we will take your child from you. The only thing we ask is if your child is still in a car seat, you unbuckle them for us. The same thing as with drop off, you will buckle them in. We don't buckle and unbuckle. At that point, your children will go to our sign-in desk. We will record their temperature. We will sanitize their hands, and a staff member will walk them in, and they will go to their morning hub. Their morning hub is a classroom. That's where their group will meet. At this time, we are unsure about our ratios. We were waiting for the New York State Department of Health to give us that information. So we are hoping that as schools are changing, that our ratios change as well and can increase as well. We do not at this point cross over groups because of COVID-19. So it is rare that our younger groups will work with our older groups at this point. Of course, we're hoping to bring that back in the near future, but really safety is our first priority. We are very proud to say as a camp, we had 10 campuses last summer. We did not have any instances of COVID-19 being contagious within the camps. So no, we had 0 transmissions across all of our campuses. I'm sorry, losing my train. Okay, so that's arrival. For dismissal, I'll have staff members placed outside. You will show them your ID, give them your child's name. ID is checked every day. Because I don't know who I will have outside, and chances are if I am outside, I deal with everybody's parents, so I might not know exactly who your child belongs to. So we ask for ID every day. We will then check it, have your child brought directly to your car at the end of the day. If you need somebody else to pick them up, you can always call me during the day. I can add them to our authorized grown-up list. It could be for just that day, or it can be a person who's allowed to pick up your child whenever. It's completely up to you. We also have a feature that we use if you choose to use it, that your pickup person can have a password. Your child needs to know the password, and their adult needs to know the password. At that point, we would release it to them. Our camp day runs like a regular school day. I'm a middle school teacher, so I named our groupings by period. Each campus, if your child's gone to a campus, might do it a little different. They might use colors. But being a middle school teacher, I was most comfortable with periods 1 through 10. So we start our day off in our hubs, and then we run on a 45-minute schedule. Lunch is in the middle of the day. We try to do that from 12 to 12:30 every day, where all the children are eating at the same time. We will continue at Deer Park to eat in our hubs, which are our classrooms. It worked out very well last year. The children actually preferred it. We do not provide food for lunch, so we are asked that you bring lunch every day. The lunch is refrigerated. All of our lunches are refrigerated, so we ask that it is brown bags. If I cannot safely refrigerate all the cooler bags. So what happens is you brown bag your lunch, or if you want to use a reusable string bag, that's fine too, labeled with the name and the group. Those go into a larger bin, and they are put in the refrigerator on a daily basis. If your child has an allergy of any sort, we do have allergy bins. So depending on what the allergy is, we have some children who have a very, very high allergy to tree nuts or peanuts. Same goes for gluten, things of that nature. Whatever the scenario is, we can accommodate for it. So you don't have to worry about that. We do have water and juice on campus daily. Last year, we were unable to refill water bottles. That was a CDC recommendation that we did not refill unless it was in a disposable cup. So I recommend this to everybody. They pack their child more than one drink. It worked out well. I did have disposable cups that we could refill from, but the children mostly like their own water bottles. Most of our staff has been with us for years and years. Many of my staff predate me, which is actually nice. Many of our staff members then turn out to be family friends of campers or babysitters of things of that nature. It's really just a nice community that we're in. All of my staff love to work with children, so it's really, it's something like you've never seen before. As I said, I've been in the camp world for 15 years as a director, and I've never seen a camp family quite like this one. All of our registration and our payments are done online. So you can go online to campsforus.org and you can look up the different schedules, the rates. The rates depend on how much you go, how many children you have, what programs you pick. I'm lucky enough that I do not deal with any of the financials on our campus. That is a godsend. I can't tell you how much from working other places. It's all done online. We don't deal with cash. So even our before and after care is on an as-needed basis. You don't need to let me know if you're utilizing it. If you arrive early, you're in before care, your account is charged at the end of the day. If you can't get to pick up by our 5 p.m. mark, we do run till 6 p.m. and your account is just charged for aftercare. It's very simple. You go on your account whenever you can, your credit card information is in there and you pay your charges. It's absolutely wonderful. So this is an aerial shot of our campus. This was on the day that we were setting up for our Shades Big Shindig, which is one of our traditions, which I will explain. You can see where the parking lot is, just a little towards the top of the screen is a very large inflatable that is probably the most loved piece of equipment we have for our campers. That is our water slip and slide. So it is not like a traditional slip and slide. You can't fall off of it. You can't get grass rash from it. It's fully enclosed. It's sanitized between each group's use. I'm very big on sanitation, sanitizing things, hand washing. My own children, as I said, I have a 5th grader there. My 4-year-olds will also be there this year. Very, very big on safety. And my kids are there too, so I totally get it. We utilize the back parking lot. You can see the very large blacktop. That is where we do our go-karts. We do our blacktop games. We do have a little patch of grass that you can see. That's where we do our water play. If you actually look close, you can see that we have some things set up on there. We normally do not utilize the front too much, only because we have all this beautiful space in the back, but there is for our little ones, and mostly my kindergartners and 1st graders use it. There is a little gazebo that we use, and we'll go out there to do chalk and duck goose and things of that nature. Also, we do our petting zoo every year out front, which is lovely because everybody gets to see it and all the workers from the school come out. They absolutely love it. We are located right on 231. There is a large fence. There is no access for the children to get near or on 231. And where the faculty parking is, where you see those cars, there are gates that close, and I do pull them closed after arrival. Okay, so we went over arrival and dismissal. I did that one already. So as I said, we made a lot of camping adjustments in 2020 for COVID. We were lucky to be allowed to open. Our campers who have been with us for years past are used to leaving twice a week for swimming and bowling, which needed to be adjusted this year. And when we surveyed the children and the parents at the end of the camp season, although swimming and bowling are super fun, and we went to Chuck E. Cheese and Adventureland, and our older ones went to Broadway shows, the items were missed, but they didn't make or break camp. The kids loved being together. They loved the new traditions that we set forth together. We just had a great time on campus. It was nice to all be together and not have, oh, the kindergartner's gone, oh, the 5th grader's gone. So they really got to see, if they had siblings, they got to see their siblings. We have a lot of cousin groups, or just children who know each other from school, or kids who have come to camp for so long together that those are their summer friends. So we have performances that come into us. We have a magician who comes every year. We do a safety program every year with the little ones about biking. It's absolutely lovely. It's run by Northwell Health. We have the petting zoo come. We have picture day. We have a lot of people coming in and out. All those people are health screened, temperatures are taken, and they're given a visitor's pass. Nobody gets through the door without me knowing who they are. Once we're inside the building, we are behind locked doors. So we're not exactly an open campus. When we are using the church during the day, nobody is allowed to be in our area. So in our playground area, it's not open to the public during the day. My staff is absolutely fantastic about notifying me if there's somebody on campus, and we immediately explain to them that we're closed until 6 p.m. and they're welcome to use after. Prior to the children going outside anywhere, I walk the grounds. We make sure that the playground is clean. Last year's summer protocol was that we clean the playground prior to the children using it and between each cohort. Our cohorts are another word for our groups. Sorry, I'm in teacher mode. So looking forward to 2021, we are looking to bring back some off-campus field trips, but in an effort to be absolutely transparent, we will not be able to make any decisions until the CDC and the DOH give us their recommendations. So at this point, we are really focusing on on-campus programming. We have soccer shots that comes in. We did a dance program this year with hip hop dancing that the kids absolutely loved. Soccer shots goes all the way up to 6th grade. That is an extra added program that your child can sign up for a nominal fee, weekly fee. You're not charged for activities that we charge for if your child is not there. So if you sign up for something and your child is sick on a Wednesday and you don't have to feel that they need to come, you will not be charged for that day. You only pay for what your child is there for. Sorry, I keep having to move my chat out of the way. So every day our camp opens with a morning assembly or a breakout. Years passed and we're hoping to get that back, hopefully this year or the middle of this year. We put all the children into a gym. We have a very, very large air-conditioned gym. They stay with their cohort or their class. And we do different activities, inter-camp activities, just to get them moving, get them talking. Especially now, we have many children who are out to school on complete virtual. So we almost forget sometimes how to interact. Our electives that we have, went over a few of them. We have a fitness. Oh, we have EduCamp. I'm so sorry, the teacher in me forgot about that. EduCamp is offered to all grades free of charge up to 5th grade. It's a 2-time-a-week half-hour pull-out that focuses on the slip. We never want the kids to have the reading math slip over the summer. We use a workbook. We have a certified teacher that comes in and pulls them by grade for half-hour sessions. That is free of charge, but totally optional. We have our soccer and our dance, and then we also have clubs. Our clubs change yearly, depending on our counselors and their interests. So some years, we've had cheerleading club because we've had a cheerleading coach. Some years, the older children actually had a movie club where they were able to watch a movie once a week and then compare it against something else. Either if it was an older movie that was remade, that was the year that all the movies were getting remade, like Karate Kid. So they watched the old and the new, and they did a lot of comparisons because we had a counselor who was studying video and drama. So those clubs will open up week 2. They run through week 7, again, free of charge. If your child is not interested in a club or you don't want them to participate in a club, that would be a time that they're with the rest of their group doing a quieter activity within the classroom, such as board games or an independent craft. So this slide focuses on our off-campus activities. As I discussed, we are waiting for the Department of Health and the CDC to give us their guidelines. At the current time, the big problem is the busing, as I'm sure you all know from your children going to school. The amount of children allowed safely on a bus to reduce transmission is very, very low. So for us to take our entire campus, grades 1 through 8 to Adventurelands, where in the past, say we needed 4 buses, we're now looking at needing upwards to 16 buses. We always want the children properly supervised, and having 16 buses and giving proper 2 to 3 counselors per bus may not be feasible. So we also don't want to increase tuition for busing prices either. So we're just looking into all our different options. Swimming and bowling are done. We use the Babylon Bowling Alley when we go bowling. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm sure you've been there with your children. It's fantastic. And we use a Byron Lake Pool in Oakdale, which I had never visited before prior to working with Camps for Us. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I take my kids there all the time now. The facility is clean. The lifeguards are second to none. All children, when we do go swimming and bowling, swimming, are swim tested by a lifeguard. It's a very quick process, and they're either labeled a swimmer or a non-swimmer. Every 10 minutes when we are swimming, we do a buddy check. Every child's assigned a buddy. They stay with their buddy throughout the pool. We do a buddy check. We call a buddy check. I train all my counselors for it. It's simple procedure of we call buddy check. There's hands go up. The kids mimic it. They find their buddy. All staff are in the pool when we're at the pool, except for myself and my group leaders. My group leaders are on the outside of the pool watching and monitoring. All my counselors and my junior counselors are in the pools with the children to make sure that they are staying together and that they're not mixing with the general public for safety. At Byron Lake, there are 2 pools. There's one pool that is I think it's a 4-foot pool. There's no deep end. And then we call that pool A. And then there's pool B, which is really the baby pool, but we don't like the kids to know it's the baby pool. So that's where our kinder campers and most of our first graders stay in pool B, unless they're a little taller or they're swimming. For them to go into the larger pool, the water needs to be only up to their chest. They can't be struggling to tread water the whole time. And there's also a water slide that they're permitted to go on as long as they are tested as a swimmer. They can test every day that we're at the pool. So just because week 1 they're not a swimmer doesn't mean week 4 they won't be a swimmer. Okay, so all of my senior staff are first aid and AED trained. We also get trained in anaphylactic shock and food allergy awareness by Safe for Kids. They're absolutely wonderful. I myself am an EMT. So as I said, as the director, I am always on campus. So I am always there. We have, knock on wood, not had any incidents since I have been there. And my staff is absolutely always on point. When the children are eating lunch or we're doing snack, nobody's sitting. I don't allow cell phones on my campus. None of us do. So you never have to worry that you think it's a downtime, especially if you have the little ones. Our counselors and group leaders are walking around monitoring what they're doing. And especially with the little ones that they're not sharing food because of allergies. Anytime your child is seen and treated, you will get a phone call. It's either going to be from me or the group leader who treats them, just depending on time. If it's a little scrape, you might not get a call, but anything out of your ordinary, you will. So this is just a little bit on our registration. Right now, again, because of CDC guidelines and the DOH, we have a rolling registration, but it's on a first come, first serve basis because we're going to need to keep within ratio. Our sessions, you can mix and match them however you want. We're an 8-week camp. You don't need to come a full 8 weeks. You can come between 2 and 5 days per week. You can change those days If you have a rotating work schedule, something else might work for you as long as it's known in advance. You can't call me on a Monday and say, my kids aren't coming today, so I'm going to switch to tomorrow. I can always add a day as long as my ratios permit, but I can't just switch out days. I just need to make sure that I have enough staff on to safely monitor all the children. We do offer discounts. Some workplaces do offer discounts. Those are all listed on our websites. We also have sibling discounts, and then I'm sure you've gotten all the emails when we run our specials. I know I get them all. And then payment plans. You can pay in full. You can do a payment plan. It's really whatever works for you and your family. And again, I'm very lucky that is all things that are done by our main office and off of our regular campus. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to open up, well, it is open. I'm going to ask you if you have any questions from the chat. Thanks, Kelly. I just saw your question. So there is not a nurse at the camp, no. So we have everybody's first aid and AED certified. As I said, I'm an EMT. If there's medication that needs to be given, I'm in charge of that. But we do have a nurse on call. So our managing team, one of them is a nurse. So if there's anything out of the ordinary, she can be reached at any time. Anybody else have any questions for the tiny test? No, all children need to be fully potty trained if they're coming into Tiny Tots. We don't do any toileting or diapering. What are the programs again? All right, the age groups, Kelly, are you looking for how the ages are broken down? Kelly, is he in first grade or second grade? So I'll just answer that question openly, and then I'll get to the math question, Lorena. Our groups are broken down with by whatever grade they have finished in June. So our Tiny Tots are our pre-K kids. Our kinder camp are children who have completed kindergarten. At sometimes, which has happened in the past, okay, sometimes it just happened in the past, our kinder campers and Tiny Tots are grouped together just because of enrollment. So it is not uncommon for our kinder campers to be from the youngest to our children who just finished kindergarten. And then it goes in increments of 2. So we have a 1-2 group, which is children who have just finished 1st and 2nd grade, 3-4 group, children who have just finished 3rd and 4th grade, a 5-6 group, children who have just finished 5th and 6th grade, and a 7-8 group, which are children who are just finished 7th and 8th. Last year, just due to the pandemic and how enrollment went, I had my 5th through 8th graders together, and that worked out fantastic. They loved being with each other and working together. The mask regulations for this summer we're unsure of at this point. I can tell you our mask regulations for last summer, all of our employees, all of our counselors, myself needed to be masked at all times. And the children, if they were in their classroom or in the gym alone together or outside alone together, could be unmasked. We actually, Jeff, don't have a protocol for napping. None of the children, we don't have cots or nap time or anything of that sort, because normally our Tiny Tots and our kinder camp are together. And they're really on the move all day. So there are other campuses that always have a Tiny Tot program. My campus does not. So if that's a concern, we can always look into a campus close by that does have a dedicated Tiny Tots program. Generally, when we go on trips, then our Tiny Tots don't go. On my campus, they do. Only because just has been the past of enrollment. So Virginia, we do have a Facebook page. We do have a Facebook page that we utilize. I do post at the end of the day. I try not to be on social media during the day. We do use a texting app if your children are leaving campus to let you know when they've left and they've come back. And I believe with our new camp program, which we haven't been trained yet, there might be I believe there is a way for you to sign up, and it will automatically send you pictures of activities going on that your child is in. We did not have that last year. Camp starts, school ends on Friday, the 26th. And right, I'm gonna say, let me just look at my calendar for a minute. So many things going through. Just want to give you the correct dates because my dates are always off in my head. Oh, sorry, the 25th, I was off. School ends June 25th and we start up June 28th. So currently, Jeff, again, we don't have, our Tiny Tots program really depends on enrollment. If it's going to be a secluded Tiny Tots program, or it's going to be a Tiny Tots / Kinder Camp program. But you are always welcome to sign your child up for half day. I had my 3-year-old signed up for half day last year. And although we didn't have a specified Tiny Tots program, he came 3 days a week for a half day. So Kelly, you asked about children who have ADHD. The more the merrier. Kids have ADHD. As I said, I'm a special ed teacher. We could talk about that anytime you want. You can email me. We can set up a time to speak. I have children who have ADHD on campus with medication. I have children who have ADHD on campus without medication. I work with parents and we keep their home to school behavior charts going. It's really whatever suits the children's needs to, everybody having a great summer. But if you have any specific concerns and you want to just set up a call with me, you can just email me. And as I said, I'm going to put my email in the chat. I'll do that right now and we can set up a time to talk. But ADHD is usually not even a concern for me at all. Okay. Just go down. Okay, so my email is in the chat if anybody has, specific questions that we can go over. Any other questions I can answer for you? As of right now, I'm not sure if the Mesmer girls are coming back or not. My college kids are kind of in limbo right now, waiting to hear about what needs to happen with internships and student teachings and things like that. A lot of the kids are going to have to make them up over the summer because places aren't allowing people in during the school year. So we're really waiting for the colleges to make those decisions so everybody can give us an actual answer. Okay, if nobody has any other questions, I'm going to leave the webinar open for another 3 minutes. Last year, how many children were in a pod? We were allowed to have up to 15 in a pod last year. This year, I'm not sure what the ratio will be. I'm assuming it might be similar just because I am in education and I deal with it every day and we are maxing our classrooms at that point with the 6-foot regulations at 15. . Thank you, Virginia. Oh, when does it end? Sorry, I didn't see it go. Let me give you an exact date. 1, 2. We end on August 20th this year. Correct. So if we go by the same regulations from last year, which again, we will not know until the CDC and the DOH put out their recommendations, it would be 15 for 3rd and 4th grade. It doesn't mean we can't have 2 3rd and 4th grade groups. It just means that's what would be in their each specific group. So whereas years back, we had, 30 children in the 3-4 group and they were all together, this year it might have to be split into 2. Okay, any other questions? All right, Kelly and Jeff, if you want to email me and set a time to talk, and then I can actually hear your voice and we can go. It's very weird with a webinar. We go back and forth and I can give you more information. We could do that. So our weeks, this is a weird question. It's not a weird question. I mean, I just want to make sure I explain it correctly. So you don't have to come all 8 weeks. So if you sign up for 3 weeks, you just don't pick your vacation week. And then you wouldn't pay for that week. If you didn't know until the week before, that's really a question. Thanks, Kelly. I'm going to write that down. Let me grab a piece of paper. It's really a question for the main office because they deal with that scheduling. I only deal with on-campus scheduling, which I am so grateful for. I'll say that again. I'll call you right after the webinar is over. Okay, so I'll stay on another 2 minutes in case anybody has a last minute question, but otherwise I'm going to sign off at that point. Thank you, Lorena. Yeah, it was weird last year. It was hard for everybody. So it's going to be a great season this year. We did have a great season last year, but everything was so new. So now we're really well versed, and especially with the kids being back to school and really knowing the protocols themselves, it's going to be a lot easier for everybody all around. And the kids definitely need it. Definitely need it. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope it was informational for you. Again, I put my email into the chat. Please reach out to me so I can answer your specific questions much more easier with a voice on the other end of the phone. And have a very wonderful day. Thank you.